Ronan, Ireland is at the confluence of data, or the axis of data. We've got a lot of the big companies, Google being probably the biggest in the city, in Dublin particularly. How do you see Ireland navigating the current world we're in, and how will data really help the Irish economy in the next decade?
I think Ireland's at a fantastic juncture, and for a country that has no, natural resources of any huge quantity, we find ourselves at the intersection point of the most important natural resource of the next, certainly decade, if not longer, and that's data. In Google, I often talk about our Dublin offices being the point where the rubber hits the road for our users, our publishers and our advertisers right across Europe, Middle East and Africa, because it's where all of the data flows, it's where all of our teams work with those stakeholder groups to make sure that they get the very best out of the web. And we're just one company down in Silicon Docks. All of the largest born on the web companies who operate in a similar space have their European headquarters here and are finding themselves in a similar situation. So a great opportunity for Ireland to really capitalise on the fact that today it is the intersection of data for Europe, and we should build on that and we should turn it into a strength.
And here in Google, a lot of people would have different ideas of what you do here in Ireland. Some could be selling advertising on the internet, some of it is engineering, but we got a good picture of innovation here and guys doing things even for the very first time with data centres, for example. Just give us kind of an overview of the kind of variety of things that go on here in Google in Dublin. Just 5,000 people here.
There is, yeah. It's a huge site, and I think we're one of the largest employers in the city, possibly in the country. So today we talked about our innovation and our thought leadership both in Google and outside of Google on a bunch of different fronts. We started off by talking about some of our community stuff, where we are doing work in education around coding and computer science with our Call to Code competition. We do a lot of work with startups. These are projects that are very innovative from within a Google perspective and are now being replicated in other jurisdictions by Google around the world. We then moved on and talked about our publisher world. So the teams here work with publishers across the region to help them generate more traffic to their sites and help to monetize and generate an income from that, so they can create a livelihood and create more content for us all to enjoy. But within that, the emerging communities of app developers, there's over 600,000 app developers in the region. The teams here have built a whole new center focused on helping that community build new products, scale them through technology, get new users, and then again create the income streams to fund those businesses. And then of course it's advertising. So in our advertising world, we've got the teams here who work with the largest and the smallest. In fact, the global leadership for Google's small advertisers around the world is based here. So we set the global standard, and we set the beat to Google's drum when it comes to that group. Similarly, we've got the leadership for the medium advertising clients. Fanula runs that, and again, huge innovation coming out of that team. We see ourselves as a growth engine for small business right across the region. We see businesses embracing our products, exporting twice as much, creating twice as many jobs, and we wanted to tell that story of being a growth engine as well. And the last part we touched on is around our engineering teams. So very often people talk about Google's big presence, but it's a little bit of a black box, and what do they do? Is there any engineering? Well, today we were talking about the 400 plus engineers that we have that are setting the leadership for all of our data center deployments around Europe, around our network, and they're really trying to set the standard and the tone, not just within Google, but within the industry when it comes to site reliability engineers. So unique approaches being developed here, both on the infrastructure of our data centers, but also on the discipline of site reliability engineering.